I'm Andrew Huff. I'm your host tonight. I'm your Andrew Ho. How that came out. Hi, I'm Andrew Huff. I'm the editor and publisher of Gapers Block. I'm also the founder of 20x2 Chicago. However, this is not the original 20x2. That is down in Austin, where it's been going for about 15 years. This show, if you have not been before, the concept is pretty simple. We have 20 people who are going to do really creative things in 2 minutes or less in response to a question, a prompt. And that question is, when did you know? I encourage you to tweet, to use the hashtag 20x2chi. At the end of the show, or at the intermission, by the way, there's an intermission, so you can go refresh yourself. We are going to do a little contest, so keep that in mind and remember that 20x2chi. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook at 20x2chi. And you can also follow Gapers Block on all those media, plus more, at gapersblock.com. I think we should get going. You guys ready? I think we got a few people coming in, but that's all right. They'll catch on. This is a very fast-paced show, so if you don't like what you see, don't worry. 2 minutes later, it's going to be over. Speaker number 1. Dawn Xiana Moon is a lifelong nerd who has worked professionally in almost every area of the arts. She is the founder and director of Rax Geek, a belly dance and fire company that achieved viral internet fame with a video of a Wookiee belly dancing to a Klingon band playing an original song in Sherrybook. That's the language of the Wookiee. Rax Geek has garnered acclaim from MSN, Time Out Chicago, the Daily Mail, and more. And they will be producing a full theatrical production at MCL Chicago on Thursday, November 12th and 19th, so go check that out. As a singer-songwriter, Dawn has performed in 10 states and has released 2 solo albums. Her latest CD fuses elements of traditional Chinese music with jazz and alt-folk pop. Conversations with her may cover the following topics: Shakespeare, who would win in a fight between the Daleks and the Borg, how decades of Star Wars lore were destroyed in a single moment of the prequels, and the importance of good art. Dawn has 2 minutes to answer, when did you know? only at 20x2 and Rax Geek.
Yeah.
Alright. Number 2. Shawn Smith is a Chicago-based artist and designer, best known as the creator of Shawnimals, Ninja Town, and most recently, Resketch, a reclaimed paper sketchbook company. His project produces all sorts of characters, stories, drawings, murals, toys, video games, and other such things for himself, as well as for companies like Kid Robot, MailChimp, Basecamp, Revolution Brewing, Cards Against Humanity, and others. He also likes craft beer, growing big beards, and being a dad. Shawn, come on up and tell us, when did you know?
Okay. Yes, big beards. Have you ever had one of those awkward moments when you totally forgot about the way that you used to act or looked, and then you saw an old photo or talked to an old friend, then you realized, no thanks. I really didn't need to be rocking that Vanilla Ice pompadour and head-to-toe cross-colors ensemble. Like, not at all. But here's the thing, back then, I thought I knew. And I thought I've known so many times before. And each time, basically, I was wrong. We play house, we play cops and robbers, we play cool high school kid. We think we understand art, technology. We become an internet professional, social media hack, savvy business person, an amateur dad. And we think we know. And we're right for a while, but then we're wrong again. And actually, this is all perfectly okay. I once thought the difference between knowing and not knowing was an inversely proportionate relationship, more like a bow tie, where there are all these unrelated unknowns falling by the wayside as you get to a place of knowing. Focusing on that moment, and then boom, you know, and it expands outward again in unlimited tangents. Recently I was told that this was actually a false dichotomy. It's kind of a bummer. That not knowing is in fact nothing, because it's not known. It can't be if it isn't. I was only half wrong, because the knowing part is unlimited, or has unlimited potential. Full disclosure, I don't like not knowing. It's super boring, in fact, and to choose not to know is so damned close. I like the exploration and the openness. Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about this in a scientific context. John Cleese has a brilliant talk about this in a creative context, and countless others talk about it in countless other ways. Getting to a place of knowing is a rush, really much like exercise. And I love that the search for knowing and knowing itself is inherently open if you let it be. So I'm going to take a stand and say that knowing itself is nice, but ultimately not what this is about. Knowing is simply a waypoint between experience. And experience is the thing. And that is the most beautiful thing about our silly existence, never really knowing, but always trying anyway. Thank you.
The product of 9 years in San Francisco and 8 years in St. Paul, Rosamund Lannin is pleasantly surprised to have lived in Chicago for over a decade. During that time, she's been an editor for Capers Block. I know, performed stories around the city. By day, she does something with computers. By night, she co-hosts Lady Live Lit show Misspoken, which is coming up again this coming Wednesday, correct? What's the theme?
Sex Ed!
Sex Ed! You gotta go see it. It's at Gallery Cabaret over in Bucktown on Wednesday. She also edits Story Club magazine and tries to write essays that make you feel things or at least laugh. Rose, you've got 2 minutes to answer. When did you know?
When you know, you know! I'm very excited you're getting married, but I'm pretty done with when you know, you know. It's so smug, it's so condescending, like, you know. And suddenly all your uncertainty in history melts away. You have this new, admittedly self-granted wisdom, and the twists and turns of your past are but a memory. Your relationship bumps and bruises are covered up by a white dress. Your emotional peaks and valleys filled by a registry you didn't even want, but your mom guilted you into it. But when you know, you know. Do you know? The thing is, Mr. and Mrs., I love your nicks and scratches. I love your first kisses and weird drunk nights. I like your awkward dates and eventual comfortable silences. I like how you got there. I mean, your unmarried life made you the person you are walking down the aisle. Why would you wipe away your beautiful complexity with a platitude? Is a KitchenAid really that great? Is the sense of superiority super worth it? I mean, you may stay together forever. You may not. I hope you do. And I believe you will. And I think that's the crux of it. Believing versus knowing. I know few things with 100% certainty. I wish I did. That sounds really soothing. But it also sounds like stagnation and false platitudes, the things people say to wipe away doubt. Because it's only true forever, ever, love, if it's glossy and smooth. So I'd like to petition to replace know with believe. This word doesn't carry the airtight weight of know, and it probably won't win you any points at your rehearsal dinner. But to believe is to keep going when you absolutely don't know. To do something big and brave, like, joining your life to another person, even though things could go wrong. Belief leaves room for error and fall, for bodies and minds that shift and change. Belief is human, and belief is divine. Thank you for letting me read at your reception. Even if you don't agree, please invite me to your wedding. I get great gifts, and your dad thinks I'm hilarious. And this can totally be your toast.
So one of the things that I like to do as host is sort of larder the show with regulars, veterans, one might say, even though this is a fairly young show. But it helps make sure that somebody up here knows what they're doing. Rose is one of those, and our next guest is one of those. Felix Jung, excuse me. We covered that in a previous 20x2. Felix Jung runs avoision.com, a personal blog he's updated daily since July 2002. He works as a web developer for Sears Holdings, and his online projects have been featured on sites like Product Hunt, Boing Boing, and Metafilter, as well as Gamersblock.com. His latest project is Villanellebot, an online bot that writes poems in the Villanelle format using Twitter posts from random people. And here he is to tell us when he knew. Come on up, Felix.
Steve Aoki is a popular American DJ. Most famous perhaps for throwing large sheet cakes into the audience during his shows. He's also somebody that I get mistaken for with alarming regularity. Hey, it's Steve Aoki. This happens frequently. Why the confusion? Let's check it out. We're both Asian, we're both male, we're both really good looking. We both have very similar hair, and we both have very similar lifestyles. Last month, I was on vacation overseas in Amsterdam, and I don't even make it out of the train station when I hear someone say, "Hey, Steve Aoki." A week later, I'm in Paris at the base. It happens again in Paris. Now, I've noticed that it's mostly white people. So I started wondering, is it some kind of racial thing where they don't really see my face? It's just long hair, beard. Oh my God, Steve Aoki. When I saw this logo design, that's when it's all Steve Aoki's fault. He's the one treating people with this visual shortcut of no face, just long hair, beard, Steve Aoki. He even got Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad to help him out. To make things worse, I learned that I'm not unique, that there are actually a bunch of other Asian youths who have this exact same problem. This is Jared Singh, who pretended to be Steve Aoki during a Steve Aoki concert. And this is Don Lim, he's the Asian guy with the cake. One of these days, I think it'd be really fun to just throw on a pair of sunglasses and try to sneak into a Steve Aoki show. I feel like I'd have a really good chance of making it all the way up to the stage. Imagine it, me and Steve Aoki on stage together, our luscious hair just blowing in the wind. Me and Steve in front of this massive crowd. If I could pull that off, I'd be so happy. I'd be so excited. I'd be beside myself.
Oh, Felix. Steve. Good job. I also like to make sure we've got a lot of newbies. Because you have no idea what's coming. You have no idea how great they're going to be and how creative they're going to be. And that's why our next reader, number 5, is Sophia Madonna. Sophia is a digital strategist with a deep appreciation for storytelling. She poisons your mind on Facebook and Twitter with ads, and that's her living. But she assures you that she is feeling really bad about it. To prove that she is not completely evil, here's Sophia to read a little something in response to the question, when did you know?
This month, we would have celebrated our friend Amanda's 30th birthday. It's now the 15th year we've celebrated birthdays without her. She passed away when we were freshmen in high school. When something like this happens, you remember every detail of the day. You remember the Spanish homework you rushed to get done in the hallway. You remember you wore a yellow t-shirt to school and that you ate grilled cheese for lunch. And you remember every beat of what happens between learning the news and being forced to say goodbye. While Amanda was the youngest of all of us, she was by far the wisest. She was listening to Floyd and Zeppelin before we even knew what they were. She skipped a grade and was smart enough to skip another if she wanted. She questioned popular opinions and encouraged us to stay curious and form our own. Whenever we had a tough decision to make, she would tell us, sleep on it, the answer will come to you in the morning. We were pretty young when it happened, experiencing already confusing feelings, writing angsty away messages, and attempting to sneak into R-rated movies. Some attempts successful, some not so much. We were in pure disbelief at Amanda's permanent absence. It shook our whole world. One minute you're feeling okay. The next, you're looking over at an empty desk in bio and realizing it's not because she's sick that day. She's just gone. We visited her grave every couple days, then every couple weeks, then months as the pain became a little easier to bear. And it was through those times that I knew I would never be alone, that I would always be a part of an us. I continually worry that I'll forget the details about her as they start to fade. It's almost like trying to describe something with a word that's on the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite get it, and whatever comes to your mind sounds wrong. We've all built careers, marriages, and families of our own since Amanda's passing. In fact, I'll be standing up at my friend Brenda's wedding next summer. When she had the dress down to 3 choices, she said, I'll sleep on it, and hopefully it'll come to me in the morning. It's fleeting moments like those when I know Amanda's still with us. She is our glue. She is our unspoken pact to take care of each other. She is the one who made us, us. Thank you.
So now you know the breadth of what can end up on this stage. We're a quarter of the way through. How do you guys feel? Number 6. Demetrio Cardona-Maguidad is a strategist and educator in the areas of communication, design, and web technologies. He is the strategic design director at Line Red Studio and an adjunct faculty member in the communication and media innovation department at Columbia College, Chicago. He is also a musician and storyteller. Demetrio, you are up. Tell us, when did you know?
When my wife's father passed away a month ago, she asked me, "Where is he now?" "He's here with us," I said. "How do you know?" she asked. For me, it's not about knowing. It's believing and feeling the weight of losing the ones you love. When I was 7, I witnessed my neighborhood friend, Carson Baker, get hit by a car in front of our house. We used to ride our bicycles in circles around our driveway and take turns heading towards a fire hydrant that we used to pretend was a gas pump. On our way there, I was cut short by an alarming screech, and in seconds, the blur of a yellow station wagon swerved past me and came to a sudden halt as it hit the fire hydrant just ahead of me. And in slow motion, I saw the body of Carson as it twisted and flapped and rolled over the top of the station wagon, landing on the grass just a few feet in front of me. Carson's father was a police officer in our town. He was on duty when called upon the scene. I recognized him as he pulled people apart with his long and heavy arms. His stone face turned into shock and disbelief as he came to the realization that it was his son. When he saw me and my brother, he scooped us both into his arms, lifted us off the ground, and pressed us hard against his chest. He bowed his head into ours and howled, but there was no sound. It was a silent, raging shriek that I could only feel rumble from his heart. Carson's life and death taught me that we live in moments. The evidence of people's lives are felt mostly in the weight inside of our hearts as we remember them. I told my wife that each person I've lost in my life is like a brick. A brick I always carry in my pocket. Sometimes they feel light and I don't even notice that they're there, but other times they're heavy and difficult to hold. So to my love standing in the back of the room, when and how do I know your dad is with us? It is because I also feel his presence and his weight when I try to carry you in these most difficult times.
Speaker number 7. Down in Austin, they have crazy little MP3s that they play at like the most inappropriate times in the middle of these bios. So you'd be reading suddenly, speaker number 7. Speaker number 7 is Parker Molloy. Parker is a writer, essayist, feminist, blogger, pseudo-journalist, and taker of naps right here in Chicago. Her work has appeared on outlets like the New York Times, Rolling Stone, The Guardian, Slate, Bitch Magazine, and The Daily Beast, among others. She's written about topics ranging from LGBT issues to pop culture to sports. And she spends way too much time on Twitter. You may follow her, in fact. Parker works full-time as a writer at Upworthy.com. And for the next 2 minutes, she's here to answer the question, when do you know? Parker?
Hi, everyone. Oh, shit. Well, I have a video up. Hey, audience, say hi. Hi. Thanks. All right, that's over. That's embarrassing. Now to the work. My name is Parker Molloy, and I'm here to answer the question, when did you know? Now, as my presentation uses a few old photos of myself, I should probably say that yes, these two pictures are of the same person. And yes, one of the most common questions I get is, when did you know you were transgender? But I'm not here to talk about that. Sorry. That's boring as shit. That's a boring story. I'm here to talk about the very thing that sometimes keeps me from appearing at and reading at these types of events. I'm here to discuss when I knew I had anxiety and depression and, well, just mental health issues. I willed that to happen. You get the idea. Anyway, let's go to the beginning. Nope, too far, not quite. Nope, still off. There we go. Around the time I hit puberty, I was not exactly feeling life. I hadn't really come to terms with my gender, hormones were doing their hormone-y things, and life just generally made me really fucking anxious. I couldn't quite articulate these issues to myself or anyone else, so everything was more or less chalked up to being an angsty teen. So I did what I was supposed to do. I got good grades, I went to college, I dated, I moved into my own place, and all that, but something was still way off. So when I was in college, I saw a string of unhelpful therapists and psychiatrists. With each one, I became more convinced that this was just how life is, and that's how everyone else must feel. But it turns out that some therapists and some psychiatrists, believe it or not, are just really shitty at their jobs. Really shitty. But I kept trying, I kept moving, not sure if anything was ever actually up. So in my early 20s, I was convinced I was dying, as all 20-year-olds do. I'd wake up in immense physical pain, writhing around and cursing under my breath, fuck, fuck, fuck. I went to the emergency room, where they ran some tests, told me nothing was wrong, and sent me home. It wasn't until my 4th trip to the ER in less than a month, when crying in pain, I asked for some sort of mental professional. After all, if nothing's wrong with my body, how about my head? The doctor referred me to a local psychiatrist who helped me find a balance of meds. What? How am I so far off? A balance of meds that helped with what I later learned were panic attacks. Life is still a struggle, and life can be really shitty, but that's when I knew.
So glad you knew. So glad you figured it out. Thanks, Parker. Number 8. Parker, Britt Julious.
I'll go again.
Yeah. Try again. Britt Julious is a born and bred Chicagoan with a curiosity for weird synthy music, shiny clothes, and snappy pieces of really, really good writing. She is the local sounds columnist for the Chicago Tribune, a dance writer and critic for the Chicago Reader, and regularly contributes to Vice Magazine, The Guardian, MTV News about race, music, and culture. In 2014, BuzzFeed named her one of the 21 amazing role models for ambitious 20-somethings. And in 2012, that's right, in 2012, the Reader named her the city's best local writer who excels at social media. You can find her on Twitter at Briticisms. Most recently, she launched the Back Talk, an award-winning podcast featuring original stories from young women of color and sponsored by Tiny Letter and the Ace Hotel. She is a champion for the underdog and a proud black hippie. Britt, come on up and tell us, when did you know?
When did you know you could love yourself? Circumvent the trauma of your lens. Escape the expectations of your body and remember that your mind is crisp and intangible. Your mind is an unbodied body, a thing unthinkable, a secret. Navigate the deviances of the world manifest as mere pleasures. Remember, these other bodies are just other bodies, even if they work hard to control and destroy your body and other bodies as if it is their God-given right. It is not, and they are not. You matter more than their body if their body aims to destroy your own. There is a measurement of goodness in the world. We all have value, are human, deserve rights, but they forfeit their own when they decide to destroy others, and especially when they try to destroy you. Fight for yourself. No one knows you but you. I wish I could know you, could love you, could keep you safe. There are limits to other people. Be the pure, brave thing you need me to be because this world is unfair and because we cannot be everything for everyone. Dance. Manifest this total freedom and total control over yourself. A dance is a body precisely. It is a body that is your own. It is a body of your making. It fits in place just so. It is force and will. It matters because you matter. Eviscerate the struggles of the mind. Look deep within your body. Root around the darkest, nastiest, ugliest bits and claim them as your own, proudly. Permanence is not permanent. You will get through this. Even when permanence feels likely, remember that you can and have and will, and that, of course, is good enough. Thank you.
We're gonna talk over here tonight. All right. Crazy talk. Speaker number 9. Elizabeth Gomez is a comedian, storyteller, writer, and casserole queen. She's a founder, that's right, casseroles, yeah! She's a founder of the Windy City Rollers roller derby. Thanks, straight. Founding writer at Drinkers with Writing Problems. And has performed at, and has performed at the Laugh Factory and Chicago Women's Funny Festival. Easy for me to say. Although her dream is to be a fly girl, fortunately that one is dead. Her other dream, to be a mob wife, is still alive and well. That's right. You can find out more about her at ezgomez.com or follow her on Twitter at Wanna Rumble, which is her old roller derby name. Judges, put 120 seconds on the clock for Elizabeth to answer, when did you know?
Getting married to my first husband, I realized that I was really great at bad relationships. So I would like to share with you tonight finding the perfectly ideal mate to ruin your life. Step 1, find a mate. Ideal qualities would include things like cars, houses, money, the ability to read and write. You do not want any of those things. Signs that you found the one. They have big dreams. Maybe they like stand-up comedy. Maybe they want to be a rock star. Maybe they're just into finance. They're uncomfortable about talking about their family. They take unusually long baths. That's places to meet a mate, because I know that's what you're asking next, right? In a mom's basement. Possibly Craigslist, but my personal favorite, ChristianMingle.com. Step 2, get married in a hurry. Before the regret sets in. Step 3. Recognize the signs. And get the fuck out. Oh wait, and get the fuck out. Signs may include calling you the C word, hiding his past, quitting his job and then pretending he's going there every day. He starts smoking crack cocaine and won't stop calling it crack cocaine. Sleeping with his boss and then posting pictures on Facebook. Stealing $3,000 when you're pregnant with his child. For his crack cocaine. But you guys, you may be asking me, Elizabeth, can you find happiness afterwards? The answer is yes, you can find happiness in step 5. Here are my suggestions. 1, become an alcoholic. 2, friend an escort. But the last one is never speak to your ex again. And if you guys happen to have children together, abandon them. You can make more later. Thank you.
Oh man. We're halfway home. You feel halfway home? Speaker number 10. Tim Barnes is an LA-born, Chicago-based comic whose absurdist humor centers on race and social norms and stuff like that. That's what he wrote. Chicago Magazine has named him one of the top Chicago comics you should check out. And the Tribune has described him as a, quote, smooth wordsmith who is sharp, polished, and confident, unquote. He hosts the comedic interview/storytelling hybrid podcast That's It's All True at touchvisiontv.com. And right now he is guest starring in 20x2 with his answer to the question, what do you know? Tim Barnes.
Yeah, okay, all right. When did I know that I should quit college? Almost the second I went to college, I think. I used to walk alone at night and look up at the stars, and I realized how infinite and absurd my student loan debt was. You know, no, I hated college. College was the worst day of my life. I feel like, because I was like a film major. When you go to college, you have to take all these classes that have nothing to do with your actual interests. I remember the first semester I took scat as a foreign language, you know? So and do mock conversations like, you know, that's hello. It sounds like you took that class. No, the true moment that I knew that I should quit college, well, like you said, I'm from LA. I was born in South Central LA, but I was not allowed to go outside. So I've heard legend that South Central is dangerous. I don't know personally myself exactly. But I went to school in Santa Barbara, California, and I felt very uncomfortable there because it was a very, you know, the same dynamic as this room. I just kind of, they were just like, I felt like there was some sort of seismic thing, I knew that the gods of irony were gonna come and get me, you know what I mean? So I had a job at a movie theater, and I was walking, I got off work early one night, walking home from downtown Santa Barbara, and a guy taps me on the shoulder and says, do you have a light for my cigarettes? And I didn't have a light, and then he took out a lighter on his own and lit his cigarette. It was a crazy, crazy man. He was a white man, in case you're wondering. And long story short, he stabbed me in the back of my left shoulder, okay? And so I'm telling you that because I feel like I knew I had to quit college when the gods of irony gave me street cred in Santa Barbara, California. I need no other credentials. That's what I knew.
All right, so that's our half. Somebody else again for our first half readers. Okay, so we're going to take a break here, because there's a bar over there that has not gotten a whole lot of action. And you guys look like you're a little thirsty. It's kind of hot in here, isn't it?
Yeah, they need to turn the
We're going to turn on the fans. We'll do that. Yeah. I have an assignment for you, though. We do a little contest. You could win something. It's worth your while. I want you to tweet with the hashtag 20x2chi when you knew. And I'm going to look through them while we take this 10, maybe 15-minute break. And the best answers are going to get some really cool-ass prizes that I've got right down here. So that's it. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks.
Can you hit the button on that again? Yep, I got it.